fucking DeBarge family, that should die under the jail. All being protected by Clive Davis. I wonder why.
Jaguar Wright has just lifted the veil on the parts 50 Cent left out of the Diddy documentary, revealing a side far grittier than anything Netflix aired. She claims this wasn't mere trimming, names vanished. Key footage disappeared, and the core story was deliberately condensed, exposing a deeper, more intense truth that the public never saw.
Anything at all that you were watching this documentary that was new information to you?
New?
Yes.
No.
From the history of Puff, him coming up, anything new?
No. There was nothing new for me. There was nothing new for me. 50 isn't just as bad as Diddy. 50 actually has a heart. He's a lovable thug. You know? Somebody should ask Soulja Boy how loving he is. He's very loving. All that time they spent together and the way he believed in him. Oh my God. They were almost inseparable. Truth is, Curtis is a swish. Been a swish for many years. Everyone knows it. The reason why I haven't got behind Curtis Jackson is because the only reason he wants them out of the way is so he can take off.
If you click this video, it's because Jaguar Wright is going all in on what 50 Cent's Diddy documentary didn't show, and that curiosity is justified. While most people are focused on what aired on Netflix, Jaguar is pointing to what was intentionally left out, claiming the most intense details were removed not because they lacked impact, but because they were too powerful and raised uncomfortable questions about influential figures. She highlights missing discussions around key industry players, gaps in major legal coverage, and deeper behind-the-scenes dynamics that, in her view, go far beyond music. Most strikingly, she questions why certain topics were avoided altogether, suggesting the silence was strategic, not accidental.
Even bigger one, named Curtis Jackson. They should check the EPA report since he's been there and the toxic waste he's been allowing to be dumped around the property of Millennium Studios for cheap cash. And I'm not saying allegedly, Curtis. I know what you've been doing. You don't get no about what happens to those people in that town, but I do. I just wonder how you like that man I sent you. Because he really didn't think you was gonna go for him. You, Curtis, you better do right by Shreveport, or I'm gonna let everybody know that Diddy doo-wop bop ain't the only taste you got.
One of the biggest points Jaguar Wright keeps pressing is the near absence of Clive Davis, and she says it doesn't add up. She reminds viewers that Davis reportedly held major control over Bad Boy Records. Yet in a multi-part documentary centered on accountability, he barely appears at all. According to Jaguar, giving someone that influential only seconds of screen time feels intentional, not accidental, raising serious questions about why his role was minimized and whether certain connections were deliberately kept out of the spotlight.
Walking into somewhere and they asked him about Diddy and he said who? Is that old age, or does he not? They're not in the same world, or they're in the same world but they're not cohorts.
He's definitely been his ex.
Oh, okay.
I would call that the same world.
Okay. Pretty
And
intertwined.
for him to say Diddy who is his way of saying, I'm not talking about Sean anymore. Maybe he's been playing cozy with the other Sean. Maybe he just got him another Sean.
When Jaguar Wright was asked to name the most troubling figure she's encountered in the industry, she answered without hesitation. Clive Davis. She described him as someone wielding immense influence with an unsettling presence behind the scenes and claimed his name has surfaced around multiple tragic situations over the years. Statements she presents as her perspective, but ones that add another layer of controversy to her broader critique of industry power.
Who would sign to Clive Davis after we all know what he did to Whitney Houston? And praise, Clive is my everything. Clive is my everything. I'd be nothing without him. You're fucking right. You're still nothing, even with him. Like, why does nobody want to be honest about this? Why is everybody so hot? Why do we want to believe? Yeah, she sacrificed her family, and I ain't saying allegedly. I'm gonna go talk to that. I've always...
No one is claiming Jaguar Wright's statements are confirmed facts, but they do spark a major question. Why does someone with such enormous influence barely appear in a documentary that promises the full story? Jaguar's answer is clear. Mentioning Clive Davis means confronting the real power behind Bad Boy Records. And that's a topic the filmmakers apparently chose to avoid.
Who's the worst celebrity like that you've been around and is like the most full of sin? I know no sin is greater, but like just was like, damn, this
Clive Davis.
Yeah.
Devil incarnate. Clive Davis. Janis Joplin. He blackmailed Betty Wright so she wouldn't tell anybody that he Janis Joplin. He killed Whitney Houston.
Jaguar Wright also points to overlooked moments and hidden connections. She says the industry refuses to confront, questioning why influential figures who were present during pivotal events were never challenged or even acknowledged. In her view, these gaps aren't coincidences or simple oversights. They're calculated omissions, deliberate choices made to protect certain names and keep deeper power structures out of the conversation.
Clive is a whole freak.
You think Clive put him on to all?
I know. Clive, that's what he do. Queen Clive. Long may she reign in hell.
When 50 Cent...
Don't nobody want to talk about why R. Kelly's bus was parked in Clive Davis's driveway, why his tour bus was parked in Clive Davis's driveway at the house where the shit went down between Chris and Rihanna. Don't nobody want to talk about why it was filled with video girls who were being trafficked. And he was never questioned by Me Too. Why ain't nobody from Me Too saying anything? They had so much to say about Harvey Weinstein, who's now all his charges is being dropped. So much for their investigation. Guess it was a little paper.
Jaguar Wright highlights Gone Deal as a stabilizing force during the chaotic bad boy era, describing him as a peacemaker who prevented conflicts from escalating. She explains that once he was gone, the balance disappeared and unchecked power began to dominate, changing the dynamics of the industry and allowing tensions to spiral in ways they hadn't before.
There were a lot of fights at those old rap shows. What I can say was, he was the peacemaker. Period. Didn't nobody want to feel what he had to give. And he was never quick to give it. He gave a word, and that was understood. And it was the confidence that was built around his character that made Bad Boy so feared. You know what I mean? Because ain't nobody want what he had or the people he could call to back up what he said. That gave Bad Boy a presence not to be fucked with. You know, Death Row had Suge, but Suge was the CEO. Diddy wasn't that.
Yeah.
But he had Gene, see. And Gene kept him honest. Like, you gotta remember, all of these people been knowing each other since high school. We talking back in the day. You know, even out, like, when people don't even realize, like, I'll Be Sure and Pete Rock, they're best friends, yo.
Right.
They went to high school together. They've been best friends since 10th grade. People change a lot when money and circumstances come into the way. How a person acted in the 10th grade is going to be very different than how they act with $500 million and an axe to grind. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different person.
Jaguar Wright also revealed footage of Diddy and Lil Rod interacting during a tense and puzzling period, calling the situation deeply unsettling. She noted that certain voice messages exchanged between them felt unusually personal and out of place, adding a layer of discomfort to what was already a confusing dynamic.
Oh God, did you see him with Little Rod working out
Oh man, that was.
while they were on the come down from all of the pharmaceuticals and all of the weirdo behavior and all of the alcohol, watching TD Jakes?
Yeah,
That didn't look weird.
it's very weird. The voice memos alone. I miss your legs.
Your lip leg.
Your lip leg. Damn.
Not legs. Your limp leg. LEG.
Yeah. Jeez.
What straight grown man says that to another grown man? Because it sounds like the leg that he was referring to was his pee-pee.
Jaguar Wright says Lil Rod's claims are where the story turns truly disturbing. The lawsuit details nights of heavy drinking where people reportedly lost awareness and woke up with no memory of events. Jaguar argues this should have been a major red flag for viewers. Yet, the documentary skimmed over it far too quickly, ignoring the seriousness of what was being described.
That's as wild as it gets, man. There's so much left unsaid.
Just wake up with Diddy next to him. Wake up sore. But I'm tripping, all right? I'm tripping. I mean, that's what the whole world went around saying. I'm tripping. Okay.
When you see the Eric Sermon discussion about Misa,
Mm-hmm.
and it's again seems like Diddy's just out there to take everyone's girl. It seems like if you got her, I want.
When the focus turns to Kim Porter, Jaguar writes as the documentary falls short entirely. Kim didn't get to tell her own story. Instead, someone else spoke on her behalf, which Jaguar found both strange and unfair given Kim's significance in Diddy's life and the impact she had on the narrative.
Yeah, they didn't.
That's the thing. They didn't portray her at all. She was spoken for by Kalima. That was interesting to watch. You don't think? Kalima's testimony? She was probably the most pitiful witness they brought up to speak about all of this in the entire thing. Kalima?
Wait, why you say that? She was emotional. She was
Emotional? That's what you call it?
That's what I'm trying to call it.
Capricorn Clark was emotional. I'll give her emotional. I'm sitting there looking at someone, in my opinion, who appears to be struggling with a substance issue, trying not to fall apart on camera. Meanwhile, nobody paying attention to the fact that she's sitting there afraid to really say anything at all because she's in the middle of a custody battle and she's trying to get her kids back. And she's got to be careful of whatever she says because it could make it impossible for her to get her kids back. Did nobody pay attention to that?
Yeah, no, she said she wanted $5,000 from Diddy.
She wanted $5,000 from her former bandmate and a billionaire. And he wouldn't even give her $5.
Jaguar Wright then questions why some key figures were completely omitted, specifically highlighting Stevie J. She points out that he lived in the same house where much of the alleged activity took place and was one of Diddy's closest producers for years. Yet his name never appears, something she finds baffling and telling about what the documentary chose to leave out.
Who her husband is and who her husband is to Diddy. He's one of Diddy's #1 minions.
Oh yeah, no, that's news.
He's a loyalist. He is a Diddy doo-wop bop. Kalena's also bisexual. So I'm finding it kind of interesting that she didn't see anything. She wasn't around anything. She didn't know about anything. And this is not me putting anything crazy on her. This is exactly what she said when she was on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta with Stevie J, who was also not mentioned at all during this documentary. Because Stevie J was living at the Star Island house. Tell me something. How do you have all of that stuff about Little Rod and there's no Stevie?
Jaguar Wright doesn't see that omission as accidental to her. It feels deliberate, as if someone was intentionally erased from the narrative to keep certain truths hidden.
Little Rod has shared with this documentary that he shared with nobody else that he did an interview with, and none of that made it into the trial. There's images of him with French Montana and the Diddler on the yacht.
Yeah.
But nothing of Stevie J. Surgically removed. Isn't that wild?
Yeah. Yeah. See Stevie J not around?
Not at all. Not at all. One of Diddy's main producers throughout the years. And I'm not sure. I haven't bothered to check because I never really had any need or want to care to pay attention to the Love album. Stevie J don't have no credit on that project at all. Heard some of the girls that, hooked up with Diddy throughout the years, and when they would come to his house and they would walk in the door and he would ask them, so how do you feel? You made it. Like just being around him. But then again, when you listen to some of the way that he was referring to himself, like talking about he can only compare himself to the Son of God and oh, it's been so long. So I forgot how to get to my tone and I've been rapping so long and listening to myself that I forgot how to be myself. And it's like watching, I don't want y'all sitting here looking like watching Jesus walk on water, learning how to walk on water. Like,
yeah, no. Even the fact that he told everyone y'all are rock stars, y'all are hot. I'm the level of hot. So he's saying, don't ever think you're bigger than me when I'm in the room. I'm like, just that thought process is.
No, just not even that. He was like, y'all hot and I'm lukewarm. Y'all not don't think I'm gonna sit here and let y'all be hot while I'm lukewarm. That's what he said. So basically what he was saying is y'all not doing enough to turn me up. Don't think that I'm gonna let y'all look good and y'all don't work harder at making me look good. But he's referring to himself as God? As the Son of God? Like,
according to Jaguar Wright, Diddy isn't the ultimate power figure many believe he is. She argues he's more of a piece on a much larger board operating within a system far bigger than himself. One where influence flows from forces behind the scenes, not just the face everyone sees.
They did what they needed to do in this documentary. The whole objective of this documentary was to blame it all on Diddy. The devil made me do it, blame it all on Diddy, and the rest of the industry is nothing like this. Like when Curtis Jackson sat there in his interview with Robin and sat there and said, I did this because I don't want people thinking that the hip hop community is okay with this kind of behavior. I don't want them thinking that, we're just going to be silent while all of this is going on. Like, we're okay with this kind of behavior. And my thing is huh? So now you speaking for all of hip hop, and all of hip hop is uncomfortable with this. You want to know the one thing that I'm finding also very interesting that nobody's paying attention to? The presence of that pyramid. That the same thing that the Rock Nation likes to put up, the same hand symbol that the sororities and the fraternities like to use. I'm not going to emulate it because you know exactly what it looks like. The pyramid sign that Diddy was wearing that around his neck. You wanna know what I found funny? That there were a bunch of YouTubers that were at that courthouse that were wearing that same, it was a much smaller version, but that same symbol.
Yeah.
I think, and that's the part of this story that makes it possible for people, I think, to graze over the reality of all that's going on. You know, if you just look at it from the salacious celebrity stuff, from pop culture media, so-called this new media, and I'm really not liking that term, this new media, because what it really sounds like is the name of a gang. Like the media is media. Because I'm looking at the people that are falling under it, and they're all the same people that are involved with, creating these propaganda campaigns. But that's exactly what Diddy was saying at the beginning of the documentary. We need somebody that is proficient, or fluent in being able to spin propaganda and narratives.
She frames it as spiritual warfare, explaining that when viewed through that lens, she believes the situation becomes more complex and that responsibility can't be placed on Diddy alone, but rather on a broader system she claims influences the entire environment.
Look at it from the face value aspect of it, that's one thing. But if you look to the spiritual side of it, it's completely different. It unveils a much deeper agenda, because for those who, it's funny, people like to talk about God and they like to throw God's name around and they like to talk about their religious and they like to talk about this and they like to talk about that, but then they don't want to acknowledge the spiritual warfare aspect of all of this that's involved. Because if you're only looking at this as freaky behavior and this, that, and the other, then that's perfectly fine. But if you take it and you flip it on the other side and you look at it as spiritual warfare, it casts a much bigger net and a much bigger light on everything. You can't just put it all on Diddy.
What makes these allegations feel most serious isn't simply that Jaguar Wright voiced them, but that they were echoed by someone once very close to Diddy, Mark Curry. When the discussion shifted to Kim Porter, his demeanor reportedly changed, signaling that this wasn't casual talk or rumor to him, but something he treated with gravity, adding weight and urgency to the conversation without presenting it as mere speculation.
I tell you this, for the 16th, it's in my new book. You remember when they say Cassie said that her friend got dangled over a balcony? Mm-hmm. It was on the 16th. And on the 18th, Kim Porter passed. 2 days. Something like that. What could have been going on in that house in Covers or on Wilshire at Cassie's condo would make him want to dangle, or even let it be said that he did dangle, because we don't, it's allegedly said that he dangled. So I'm like, damn, so dangled over the balcony, that means it had to have been an argument about something. Now, Cassie said in the interview, I pay attention to the male escort. I'll unalive you. I said, wow, she's a killer. Then she said that her and Kim didn't get along. Kim knew that she didn't like her and she didn't like Kim. It was a real jealous thing. You know what I'm saying? Because see, Puff, when Kim moved to Los Angeles, Puff moved behind her, right? Chasing her back, put her in the house. He bought a house, put her in it. And then now the original beef was because he had her pregnant and had somebody else pregnant. Sarah was pregnant. At the same time, Kim was pregnant with the twins. So she was like, nigga, you ain't gonna have the whole world pregnant at once. So she's like, I'm getting away from you. You're a greaseball, right? So she's gonna leave him. Then Cassie just comes around. Then he moves Cassie to Wilshire. So she's like, damn, nigga, you done moved out here, put me, and you done moved out here too. And I'm trying to get away.
That moment, according to the account, marked a turning point when Kim chose to step away and move forward with her life, determined to create distance. Yet even then, she was never entirely free of the situation surrounding her. When she later passed away, the official explanation was pneumonia. But Mark Curry has said that for him, the details never fully made sense. An observation he shares cautiously, underscoring lingering questions rather than making definitive claims.
As I'm sure we all want to know. One, you're unalive a man and you didn't like her, and 2 days prior or a few days prior, there was a big argument in your house, and 2 days later, this is what happened. Somebody please explain this to me. Somebody please explain this to me. I mean, because when you got pneumonia and you got money, guess what you can do?
You can get rid of it.
Yeah. You don't have pneumonia. Pneumonia, usually, I thought pneumonia had something to do, like a lot of people who had a virus, one of those viruses, we won't say the virus, it usually be pneumonia, would take them out. Pneumonia, right? Mucus buildup.
Magic.
Mucus is the #1 killer of people. But people don't know it. And so mucus buildup.
Thank you, Mark. I see that almost every day.
That's right. You gotta keep that stuff right. So then you look at pneumonia, you look at the things that come, the underlying things that come with it, you be like, wow, this gotta be a little bit deeper. You know, plus a lot of people move to Los Angeles once they find out certain things, because Los Angeles is a great place to be to get treated. People went to his parties and said they caught something. You know, there's one dude right now, Cassie running from him right now.
She avoiding the lawsuit.
Man, she doing the TK. She doing TK like a motherfucker. She running.
Do you think she should have been charged as a co-conspirator?
I ain't never understand none of they charges, because I'd be like, damn, I used to do the same shit. You know, so I say never put my hand on no woman, but I bought some girls, I bought some stuff before, I bought some coochie. Well, shit. Even in a regular relationship, you don't even know it. You buying it. You buying it regardless.
You paying for it either way.
Paying for it any way it goes. So I could never say he's wrong for anything like that. But the only thing I say wrong for is just not knowing when to put a cap on that shit, man. It's enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? Because it this up right here. Like when you get to the point where you be like, I enjoy urinating on females. You be like, what's
sick?
That you sick. That means you enjoy humiliating people. Same way you wanted me to put on a little clothes and go to Morocco.
All of these claims, entirely absent from the Diddy documentary, are shocking and raise serious questions. It makes you wonder why 50 Cent chose to leave them out. Was it to protect someone or to keep certain truths hidden? The omissions alone speak volumes, and the answers are left for the audience to debate.